So I do have questions, but just to see if they want to say anything, but my questions are going to be about my cat.
Okay. Okay. Let's see. Again, I feel like, oh my God, I saw this like big, I don't even want to call it an explosion, but it was this huge opening. And you are right there. You're like standing, and it's just happening right in front of you, which tells me that everything that we've been talking about, all the changes, all the like moving into a new place, you are right there. And I keep hearing second and third week in August, second and third week in August. And I don't know, I'm not sure exactly how it's going to manifest itself, but you are right there ready to make to move. It's not make changes, it's about moving into a new space. It's about taking a step into a new, I'm going to be as dramatic as saying a new reality for you, where everything is just rearranging itself, and I feel it like it's in your body, it's outside of you, it's everything, and that the location where you are may not be changing, but your perception of everything changes, and the way that everything is moving through your life is changing. Does that make sense? And really, and it's like you are right here. They keep saying second, third week August, second, third week August, which is next week and the week after. You know, so
And that's
does that
great.
resonate with you?
I hope that it happens. No, it does. It makes sense because I just finished a slew of reports again, and so I finally kind of feel differently about finishing this last batch. You know, where maybe okay, I've learned the process pretty well.
Well, and all that's changing. And like I said, we always talked about you were going to move and be in a new location, and then that changed the last time the guides came through, and they said, no, looks like you're going to be staying where you are. But what I saw is it was almost like moving out of the body that you're in and walking out and being fully formed, but it's all different. And to the outside world, it doesn't look different at all. But everything inside of you is processing things differently, is perceiving things differently, and is moving in a new direction. And again, but it doesn't feel like the outside has changed. So that makes sense with what you're feeling like, oh, that's done, that's done, that's done. I'm all done with those people, all done with this. You know, it's because it really is time for all newness and seamless. They keep saying seamless. It's like, you know, in the past, change has always been so challenging, you know, and you have to really work, and you gotta, you know, you just, this is like a snake shedding its skin. There's no challenge to it at all. It just happens, and then everything is new. Okay, so this is everything that you've been working toward is happening now, and it, you know, it's that perfect divine timing, because all of the energies that have been coming into our sphere have been helping us to allow this to happen. And at the same time, you've been listening to yourself, you've been making the changes, you've been doing the work as it, you know, as it arises for you. And so now it's the time for them just to kind of come together and then move this way. You know, everything is new, and yet nothing is new.
Well, that's why I was wondering, even like, did my cat go ahead to a new portal or dimension ahead of me? I had a really strong connection with her, more than any other animal since my childhood.
Now tell me, Panther was 2?
Probably 3, possibly 4 even. She was the one you described as the prince and the princess. I have her brother still.
Oh, right. Okay. Okay. Oh, she was pretty clear. She said that she came into your life to lead you. You know, and I had that sense of that royalty of, you know, that she had a job to do and she was there to lead you and to guide you, and that she no longer, okay, I want to get this right. You know, it's hard with animals because they give images instead of words. Her current role with you is done. And she has moved on. And there's, it's the sense that I'm getting from her is that the message seems to be cold. Like, no, I was done, gone, see you later. But the feeling that I have attached to that with her is that is one of tremendous affection and respect. And that she's again, you know, please pardon me until I really get into her energy to interpret what I'm getting, but she's kind of laughing about, oh, she's missing me. Of course she's missing me. Yes, we're not physically together right now, but I'm with her and I'm coming back and she's going to know that it's me. And I feel like she's not going to come back as a cat.
Well, I saw this kitten at the like this halo place here that does seem like it's her. Is that possible that might be her, this little black and white kitten?
Yeah, because that's what she's showing me. Again, this transformation of walking out of one body and into another, that that her role as Panther was done, and that as she comes back into your life, that she will take on a new role, therefore needed a new body, which, you know, I don't quite understand that. But I don't know if it is that kitten. I mean, if you recognized her, then it's her. But my sense is that she's going to come differently into your life. And I don't know if it means another animal, that, you know, that there's a different animal, or if she's going to come in and be embodied in a person. You know, I don't, this part of the soul transmogrification, I don't always understand it, but I feel like she is ready to walk into your life, or she's preparing herself to walk into your life in a different form, because there's more to be done. That she walked with you through your it wasn't, she's not saying transformation, that's how I'm interpreting it, but it's more like the transition, that you've been transitioning. She's saying over the last 3 years. Oh, have you had her about 3 years?
Yeah.
Okay. And yeah, she's saying you have been transitioning over the last 3 years. You've been transitioning physically, emotionally, and spiritually, and that she was there to lend her energy to that. And that now that this transition is done and you are ready to enter this transformed state of being, she wants to be with you in a transformed state as well. Does that make sense?
Yes, that's great. Well, I was like, did she go on ahead of me? You know, that's what it felt like she went first ahead of me somewhere, that I'm supposed to follow her, or maybe like you're saying.
Yeah, and well, and I agree. I mean, she truly came as, she's saying, I don't know, I'm having such trouble having it come through, you know, like just easily. It was about energy. It was about melding energies. It wasn't so much that she was a teacher or a leader for you, but was a partner with you. And that is, she needs a different body and different existence in order to continue the partnership. that it was important for her to be in a cat's body because you two got to be together. Like she's showing me. Did she used to lay on your chest?
Not, no, that's the one thing she wouldn't do, but she used to, I mean, she just was, I don't know. Cause Sam left a year ago, so it's been a year since he went away, and she totally filled that space where I didn't even miss, I missed him a little bit, but, she filled in the gap as like a mother-daughter baby relationship, like she was.
Yeah, and that makes sense with me. What she was showing me about transition is that a big part of it was you're transitioning from a full-time mom to now being a mom of a grown man,
Yeah.
and that was part of it. But then there were other, that was the emotional part that she talked about. But then there were other physical.
Well, yeah, because a
things.
couple years ago, you actually said I was going to be working with both of my cats, and we were going to be like communicating, like they were going to have a role of, I forget how you phrased it, but that, we would be communicating, and they were part of like my team for, I don't know, something up there, some relationship with a guy too. There was like a foursome, me and the two cats and this other guy that.
It amazes me that I say these things.
Well, that was amazing, yeah. But
and I don't remember them at all. So that those are your guides talking through me because.
What happened to her though? Did she get attacked by a coyote, or did she get lost in a rainstorm, or did she drown?
Okay, what I'm about to say is really weird. When you say that you had this image of her walking somewhere, that's what I see her doing. I don't see her being killed. I see her like disappearing.
Oh, like through a portal or dimension kind of thing. Okay, good. That's kind of what I thought.
Everything just got absorbed because I'm not feeling from her any suffering, any fear. I'm seeing her walking through. Do you have a place near you that has grasses?
You mean like a savanna? I mean, my neighborhood has all kinds of wooded lots. Like every other house is a wooded lot, which I've searched them all.
Okay. Yeah, and she's showing me that there was a place where she was well hidden, and it looks like not anything that I think of when I think of Florida. I feel taller and greener, and it's like she walked in. Do you remember the movie? That if you build it, they will come. Field of Dreams.
Yeah.
How they walked into the cornfield and just kind of disappeared, just got absorbed into the.
Oh, yeah.
That's what she's showing me, that's what happened to her. I've got the chills. Ooh. Oh, I don't, that doesn't.
That's
that.
Well, that's along with what you started out saying, that in 2 or 3 weeks, I would be in a different reality. I mean, in terms of timing of her leaving.
Yes.
And
yeah.
Also, that 8-8 gateway.
That 8-8 portal.
Yeah.
It's going to be a doozy.
Yeah, I mean, like, really she goes to that portal already,
Oh, yeah. But see, I still see you physically here.
Yes. I'm not.
And she's going to rejoin you physically. And again, I don't know. It may be she may come through as a person. There may be somebody new.
She takes over an adult body kind of thing.
She could very well be, and you're going to recognize her. Although, damn, I just love it because all this weirdness comes through when your guides come through. Because here's what I'm seeing. I'm seeing her about yay high, so like up to maybe about 4.5 feet tall. And so I don't know if it's a child or if it's a small person or if it's an alien presence that you're going to become aware of. But it's not a full-sized human being.
Okay.
And you are going to recognize, and she's going to talk to you about what you've done. And, so I don't know that and again, I'm trying to interpret this because it's not anything that is in my experience, but it could be that she shows herself to you that she's saying that she's in a physical body, but it may not be physical, 3D physical. And so you may find yourself talking to somebody who nobody else knows is there, but you know that that's it. So she may very well, I'm having this crazy thought, you know, all those spaceships that are up there and the ones who are physically there, but I feel like she may be part of that grouping, and that it was part of their ability to put herself into an animal body to share with you, and for your vibrational bodies to get used to each other, so that even though you didn't have verbal communication with her, you developed this really intense communication with her, and that now that can be transferred into this other body that you will be able to communicate with. I almost sense that it might even be like a holographic thing, that she's not physically there with you, but that you will be very aware of her presence, and that, again, this is just a stage that, you know, as you communicate with her and get to know her in this other form, that eventually you will be able to touch her and feel her. And whether it's when they show themselves and they come here and they are truly in the 3D body, or whether it's you move into their space, I'm not sure. But that's going to be yet another transition down the road. Does that make sense?
Yeah, because I've been like really grieving her, you know, feeling this heart sickness that, you know, I was like, this is so intense, like, you know, more intense than any other animal I've lost, you know, so I kind of wanted to.
She wasn't an animal.
Yeah, she seemed so extra special. And I'm always like, why wasn't it this other cat that I have that didn't leave, that I've been waiting to leave, you know? I'm like, why are you still here? Like, hurry up.
Because it's time for her to transition. She keeps talking about transition, and she came to physically help you with the transition. And when I asked if she laid on your chest, the feeling that she gives me is that she needed to be touching you a lot.
Yeah, she was like needing, you know, like doing that on the side of me, like.
Okay. Yeah, because I feel her fur up against you too.
Yeah, she would lay on next to me side to side, just not.
Oh, and lay against you.
Yeah, against me.
Okay, all right. Yeah, because that's what I'm feeling, is that she had her fur on you all the time and she was touching you, and that there was a lot of communication that was going on that way, and there was an adjustment of regulating your vibrational bodies to each other so that then this next step could happen.
Yeah, actually, I just had a dream like a month ago, and I don't really remember the dream. But what I remember, it was during the daytime. I took a 3-hour nap, and when I woke up, I didn't remember. It was like from 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. And when I woke up, like, she woke me up. She was sitting next to me and like crying in my face, you know, which she's never done that ever. But I woke up with the words abduction, in like, you know, kind of. I heard the words abduction, and she was sitting there, like, she woke me up, and that's never happened. And this was about a month ago. And I was, you know, I was like, was I just abducted? Or then, you know, I wasn't sure what that referred to, and I almost totally forgot about it. But it was weird that she was sitting there, like, waking me up. But she always was really sensitive to if I breathed differently. Like, she would come out of nowhere, and she's very aware of my breathing. I don't know. So
here's what I'm getting from her, is that the reason she woke you up was that the sense of abduction creates fear, you know, and that the experience that you will have, your conscious mind interpreted it as abduction, but that's not what it's going to be.
Oh, you mean like I might be taken somewhere?
You might.
It
She's
was
going to
just
appear
weird that
first.
she was sitting there, like, and I was so out of it that she could barely get me to come back, to.
Do you remember what the being looked like that you were talking to?
Oh, no, no, nothing. All I know is I was in a deep, deep place. Like
Okay.
he had to like bring me back to this plane, it felt like I was gone, and she was the one who called me back.
Okay. Yeah. I don't know. Like I said, I feel like she was a guardian of yours, but that you need to understand that she hasn't left. She's just changing form.
All right.
So it wasn't a running away from anything. It wasn't an accidental death. It wasn't her choosing not to be with you anymore, as in, oh, I don't want to, I just want to be here. It was in her taking the opportunity to begin her transformation, her transition, because the next phase that you will be with her is going to be yet another, and I feel like, oh, another 3-year transition of you adjusting to her true energies and her true form, so that you will then be working together actually physically. So she may come to you in dreams to start. I do actually, though, see you physically, visually seeing her at some point. Like a holographic image that will appear to you, but it will not be her physical body. But eventually, you will be back together with her physical body.
Yeah, and then the other day I had another dream where it was just a photograph. Like I saw a snapshot photo of, like, I've been searching these lots, like I said, and there's a lot of trees, but when you get inside the wooded lot, some of them really open up and it's an open space, and some of them are not. There are a lot of walking over plants. But this, in my dream, the photo I saw it was like this surrounded area of trees, but then it was just pine needles. Like this clearing was in this wooded lot opening with trees, and I saw this big black number 3 right in the middle, like a bold, letter, black 3, and it was just like a snapshot, but it woke me up, and so I went back to this one lot that kind of looked like that, and she was nowhere there, but maybe that was like where she left from. But what was the number 3? I mean, it was just weird.
Let me ask. She's so funny. 3 years. I told you. 3 years.
Oh, but
She's just like, what are you asking for? It's 3. And it's like, oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, 3 years she was with you. It was time to move into another 3-year period.
so is that maybe where she, like, the portal or whatever, where she disappeared? Because it was this one clearing area of pine needles, like, like you said, the field of dreams. Maybe that's where she entered this wooded lot and just left from, or whatever.
Yeah, and I feel like she may have actually, it's like her, oh, I love this. Her consciousness, which, didn't change. It's almost as if she transferred her consciousness from the body of the cat into wherever it was that she went. And I feel like it might very well be in one of the spaceships overhead, because I feel her in a physical form now. And that the body just got absorbed by energy. That was the disappearance, was that her consciousness, it was a very deliberate thing. It wasn't, like in death, the consciousness leaves the body and we leave the body to just kind of do what it's going to do. With hers, it was almost like it was a fabricated body, and it was all a deliberate, I mean, I know we're all energy, but it was different than a 3D cat who was born. And you don't know where she came from, right?
Oh yeah, it was a litter of kittens my hairdresser had. But she also never used to really meow. I mean, she did kind of meow, but most of her communication was like, it was like, it was a chirping noise.
Isn't she something?
Like,
Yeah, you're going to hear that sound too from her.
so I was like, I need another cat. And then this one at the, like I said, Halo, it eats in a way, you know, like, I don't know, there was a lot of similarities. It's this kitten, but I'm like, do I really want to take on another kitten at this phase, or should I be weaning down on the animals? You know, I don't know. I feel like visiting this kitten all the time, but I'm drawn to it. I mean, it does remind me of her, that's for sure.
Um, how many? You have two other cats left?
Yeah, I have the older one who I'm waiting any day for her to go.
Right. Oh, that guy, you've been waiting for like a year for that.
Yes, and then her brother, who's, you know, he actually used to nip her, like to move her out of his spot on the bed. You know, he'd always push her off the bed, kind of just by nipping her, and she'd have to move. You know, and I'd always try to be like, no, she stays. You go somewhere else.
You find another. It's a big bed.
Yeah, but he just never wanted her on the bed at the same time he was on the bed. But so he's kind of that way, territorial. So I don't know if he would do well with a kitten.
Yeah, I'm feeling that you should wait.
Okay.
You know, what I feel is that this kitten is so reminiscent of Panther, but it's not Panther, and that if you wait a couple of weeks, that feeling is going to dissipate. Wait until that 2 to 3 weeks in August.
Okay.
You'll know what to do and where things are going. But yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure that it's. Yeah, I don't feel like it's a good time to bring in another cat.
Okay.
Okay.
So is my older cat Cassie still waiting for Sam? He's coming back next week, actually, for a week, and then he goes off again for the next semester. But I'm like, okay, maybe after this visit you'll leave. You know, it's just
She's so funny.
is she still waiting for something?
Sorry, I'm still with Panther.
Oh, good.
No, only because, you know, when you said you wanted to talk about the cat, and I forgot all about what's come through with them, you know, and I'm thinking, oh, we're going to have to try to locate her body. And it's like, man, this is so different than, so different than doing that. So, and Cassie is the cat?
The older one, yeah.
Older one. Man, she's just so stubborn. She really likes having a body.
Oh.
She really likes having a body. And so that initially she was just waiting for Sam and missing him. And now she's like, well, why bother going? I'm okay. She's having some physical ailments. Is she slower now? Or does she have some?
Totally, yeah. She doesn't jump on the bed anymore. So that phase ended in the last visit Sam was here. After that, she never came on the bed again.
Well, that's it. And I'm seeing that her joints really ache her, you know, but she's like, no, it's not so bad. So, but I think she's gonna, I heard her say, yeah, I'm about to give up the ghost, but she really wants to spend some time with Sam. And I think that after that, again, I feel like, well, everything in your life is going to look so differently by the beginning of September. And so I think she'll be gone by then.
All right.
It was last year at this time we thought she was going to go.
Right after he went to school, we thought she would leave. Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, she really was. But this time I feel like there's just a complacency about her. There's not an urgency anymore, you know, and there's not that. She was in panic mode last year with Sam leaving, and just didn't know what to do. And I feel like now she's just complacent. And she, I mean, to use that phrase, I never use that phrase, but she's like, yeah, I'm going to give up the ghost soon. Just like, oh yeah, oh, and she'll spend the last week with Sam, and then she'll go.
All right. Well, I might as well ask about my other cat then. He was, he really, you know, like I said, was pushing Panther off the bed all the time and chasing her out of the room or whatever. And, you know, I'm like, really, now that she's gone, Cassie, my older one, was always growling and hissing at her, and she'd always just stretch, you know, just to be like near her. But then I'd hear Cassie growling and hissing, and Panther wasn't doing anything, but I'm like, well, now they're probably happy she's not here. The one of them was pushing her off the bed, and the other one was always growling at her. But then I heard her brother like looking for her the other day in Sam's room, like crying out, like walking around in there, and I'm like, oh, you finally noticed she's gone, So.
And what's her brother's name?
Shadow.
Shadow. Okay, she was showing me this whole scenario that Shadow is a real cat.
Oh yeah.
And she never was a real cat, and that was why the other two were always reacting to her. Okay, was because they knew something was different, and not in a real conscious way, but in an animal way, is that she was not right, and so that they were always in reaction to that. And she said, she's showing me that Shadow's she's actually, when you get to know her in this new body that she's in, or which is her old body, you're going to be amazed. She's pretty arrogant. I mean, she knows what she knows, and that's. And she will let you know that. And so she had a rather condescending attitude toward both Cassie and Shadow, and they knew it. And, it's like, I'm not a cat, and so that created a lot of that. She said, yeah, and Shadow was really relieved when she wasn't around for a few days. And now he's like, what's going to happen? You may need to get another cat after Cassie goes. Because Shadow may just really need to have some more company. And this is another weird thing. They showed me that you're going to need to let Shadow pick the cat.
Oh, like whoever he likes, and maybe I'll have to return cats if he doesn't like them.
Yeah, or even I saw you bring, I don't know if you ever take them in the car with you.
No.
But I just saw, or maybe somebody will bring a litter of cats over to your house.
Well, that's what I mean. Like if I brought a cat home and then he didn't like it, then if I said to them, could I return it and try a different cat and do it that way?
Yeah, but I actually see a litter of cats, and take it with a grain of salt, but I'm seeing like 4 or 5 or 6 cats, little kittens, and that he will go amongst them and pick the one that is meant to be his sibling.
Okay.
That he'll ignore the others or even push them away, but there'll be one that like cuddles up to him and that he allows to cuddle up to him, and that's who that is. And so I'm thinking that this one that you're looking at now is not the right one, because he's going to choose, and he's not ready yet. I don't feel like it'll happen until after Cassie goes.
Okay.
Because he right now he's like, I don't want anybody else around, but after Cassie goes and he feels that loneliness, that he'll be willing and ready to accept the new one coming in. And like I said, I don't know, and I've never heard of this happening, but I feel like somebody's going to say, well, if you're worried about your cat, how about if I bring the kittens over and see what he does with them?
Yeah, no, I'll try that. So Sam also had a really intense relationship with Panther. I mean, even before I did. When I was talking to you, I know you don't remember, but I was saying, why doesn't she come near me? She's always just wants to be near him. And you said it was because she really liked men, and that, I shouldn't take it personally. But then she bonded with me in the time since he left. But so he had, a really, so he's going to be coming home, and I did tell him she left, wasn't here anymore. But what was his relationship or her relationship with him like?
Again, her whole point of being physically in the body of the cat was to help with transition.
So he, though, also had that maybe Pleiadian energy or something with her.
Yeah, and he that his guides have said over and over again that he's got really important work to do. That by the time he's 30, he's going to be ensconced in this very important work. And so she is part of that work. And she came to help him transition into adulthood. He's young. He went off to school young. He, being an only child, missing his father. I mean, there were so many things that kept him sheltered and not really quite ready to be out in the world. And that she came and helped. And again, this is all on an energetic, vibrational level. But that was why she needed to bond with him first, so that then he could go off. And yes, she does like men. Like I said, she's definitely a female. And you're going to be amused and annoyed by her arrogance when you get to know her. And that's the feeling that I have. And so, yeah, so she first needed to get Sam to the place where he could move on. And then she worked with you for you to go through the transition of him not being there. And at the same time, in these last 3 years, both of you have been going through all sorts of spiritual transitions, and you've been very aware of it. He hasn't been as aware of it. But, you know, again, I don't know if they used these numbers before, but at like 25, 26 is going to be a time where he really opens and he becomes extremely aware. And there's all sorts of stuff going on in his vibrational bodies that is preparing him to get to that place. Does that make sense?
Yeah. He's talking about like going to New Hampshire when he graduates. Do you really see him doing that? He's never been there. He just hates the hot weather.
He is going to be, you don't have to worry about where he's going to end up, because what I'm seeing is there's a facility that is going to recruit him for his skills and his education. And it's going to be leading him in the direction that this very important work is being done. And yeah, I do believe that he's called to the mountains. I know we had talked about that, and that's what, you know, it was kind of surprising that he ended up not going to Colorado, but let me just ask about that too. Well, it wasn't time. He's not ready to connect with all of the energies at the mountain level.
Well, New Hampshire, you know, has that tall mountain.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And they're going to call him to the mountains. But I asked, well, why didn't he end up going to school in Colorado if you're telling me that mountains are calling him? And he's in geology, right?
Well, no, because in Florida, they didn't offer that as the major. That was in Colorado or MIT. The Florida school, he's in chemical engineering.
Yeah, he's not going to stay with that.
I mean, he loves working on the equations, that's for sure. He loves equations.
Yeah, the engineering part is really, but the chemical engineering, I don't feel like that's where he's going. And I won't be surprised if in another year a different opportunity comes up for him. And it could be that, you know, he's offered a scholarship, or he discovers a program that is really suited for him. And I'm seeing a scholarship because Sam's path is already set. And he's got all of his helpers in spirit realm who are going to make sure that he gets where he needs to be. And he was not ready to leave home yet.
Like the state of Florida, you mean?
Yeah. And he's only an hour from you, you know. And
then 3.5 hours. I have to go pick him up.
Half hour?
3.5.
Oh, 3.5. You know, but there was that sense of connection,
yes,
you know.
Yes.
And in another year, he's going to be in a different place. So don't be surprised if sometime I'm feeling like toward Christmas, toward winter break, that he's going to become aware of something. And I don't know if it is like an internship where he's going to do that next summer. But
yeah, he can't wait to do internships.
Yeah, but it's going to transition to him being in another place.
Like next summer, he is talking about an internship, and he's wherever they put him.
And that's going to transition into him saying, you know what, I don't really want to be in chemical engineering. I do want to go back to geology and earth and, you know, and all of that. And that wherever he is, they're going to help him to make that transition. Okay. So, so yeah, he let him just talk now because he's just letting things out, but he's being called to the mountains. That's where he will end up. And yeah, you're right. New Hampshire is, I mean, in New Hampshire, when you said New Hampshire, I was like, yeah, I don't think there's anything there, but oh yeah, there's stuff there. And almost like hidden stuff,
Like what?
I don't know, like government stuff.
Oh, in the mountains?
Yeah, I mean, the government knows all about all of the stuff that we talk about.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
And I don't know, he
Oh,
might
so
get,
there might be a government position, you're saying.
yeah, he might get pulled into something. But the schooling will match and he won't have to worry about finances. That's just, again, he's on this path that is very well guided and he's going to end up where he needs to be. So
All right.
we'll be ready for that.
Okay. Wow, I kind of suspected that though, going back to Panther. I said to Kate, I was with her the other day, and I was like, maybe she went through a portal or another dimension. And I said, I'm just gonna picture that instead, but anyway, we've covered
Yeah,
that.
picture walking through the corn and just kind of disappearing.
Yeah.
And I just saw it as like her consciousness went up and the body just dissolved. Just because it was no longer needed and because it wasn't a true 3D body,
Interesting. Yes. All right. So do my guys have anything they want to say to me?
They always do. Let me. Well, they're focused on these next 2 to 3 weeks. And you're right, it's after the 8/8 portal because that's the second, that following the 8/8 portal will be the second week of August into the third week of August. And they're saying, just prepare yourself because everything is changing. Everything is going to be new. And I know that this is not a concern of yours, but they immediately brought up the partner who's coming into your life. And he's going to be showing up very shortly. This man coming in is totally new. Totally new. And in all senses of the word, that, he's in a very similar position that you are, that the work that he's been doing in his life is brought him to a place where he feels totally new. And that as you both walk out of your old bodies, your old existence, that, you're gonna walk out of yours and he's walking out of his, and you look and say, oh, well, hello. Because you just, and I feel like this is happening and it's going to happen very soon because this is what's meant to happen after all the work that you each have done. That moving forward on this new, new plane, I'm going to call it, you're meant to do it together.
This is interesting because if you remember, I know you don't remember, but what you said was Panther was going to be the one who brought the man into my life, and that then we were going to all be working together, with her and the new guy. And so you're kind of saying this now, like at the same timing.
I'm laughing because she's laughing and saying, yes, yes, you're going to be working in her new form, and that her moving on the way that she did is it had to happen now, right before this 8/8 portal, to make you aware of all the new things that are going to be happening. Okay. And she's just got to, again, I hope she doesn't come down here and slap me upside the head, but there's just like this arrogance about her that, of course, what do you think? This is what, and so, yeah, this all stands to reason that even though she physically isn't bringing the two of you together, that her passing on in this moment is bringing you to the place where you walk out of your body he walks out of his body, and there you are. And when I say that, it's not literal. And I know you've always had this image of literally walking out of your body. This is not the time for that. But everything about you, all of the old, is what you're walking out of. And so the shell of who you were is what you're walking out of into this new, and dare I say, it's your whole body is going to be different. The DNA is going to be different. HIV is going to be like gone. There's no issue there at all because everything is new. Does that make sense?
Yeah, again, to go back to what you had said before, you even had said, it was probably 2 years ago, and you had said that, I think like September, somewhere like in the same time frame, but we were thinking it was 2 years ago, with her working with me with this guy, and actually at that time you said her brother too, the 2 cats, but I'm just saying the time frame, and of course October is always my big month for new direction for what the next year is going to be. That's my transition month, is always October. That sets the path for the whole next year. But yet, I know there's a lot going on in August too. So August is usually downtime where nothing's happening. Like Sam's going to come home for a week and then he's going to go back, but then maybe after when he leaves.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not happening in October this year.
Okay.
It's happening now, and by October, you're going to be set in a new pattern. Okay, so that from now until your birthday, everything is going to be moving into place so that when your birthday comes, you're going to be set in a new pattern and moving forward in a brand new way.
Yeah, and I'll be 55 this year, which is a
great number.
Yeah, so for December, so I'm like, well, that's a pretty big number. I'm also coming up to Connecticut in September next month for a week. So, but yeah, I'm glad that, I asked you about Panther. Obviously, that was a big thing that you needed to explain to me.
That was huge. I had no idea. Really, I just thought I was going to try to find a lost cat.
Yeah.
And Robert wants to say something before we go. He, once again, thanks you so much for being everything Sam needed. Oh, he's making me really fill up. He's so grateful to you, and he said you have helped him to become such a strong young man, and he only has great things in his future, and I give you all the credit for that. And then he kind of made this sweeping gesture, like I don't know, like Sir Walter Raleigh, and he's like, and now I release you to find the true love of your life.
Oh, wow.
It's almost like he's feeling like he's going to have a hand in getting you together. And because he says, this is what you deserve. This is what will create the best life for you. And he says, you have worked so hard and with such love, when so many of us would have shut down our hearts experiencing what you've experienced. And you continue to open your heart more and more and more. And the reward is right around the corner. All right. I hope this was good.
Well, now I'll be able to stop grieving Panther and stop looking for her. And,
she's coming back.
Yeah.
And you're going to know it.
Wow. I can't even imagine, unless you're saying no, not in a physical body though.
Not yet. Not yet. You will know her again in a physical body. And I think the physical body that she's going to be showing you. But you're going to start, again, this female about 4.5 feet tall, and she's going to start communicating with you.
Okay. All
okay.
Right. That's good.
All right.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
All right. So.
All right.
All right, bye.
Okay. Bye.